This is the new Volkswagen Golf GTI, which I'll tell you up front is not unlike the old Volkswagen Golf GTI, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. So there's a new infotainment system with a big screen if you pay for it and gesture control. There's new digital instruments a la Audi Virtual Cockpit. There's a slightly jazzed up interior. There's some exterior styling changes around the bonnets, around the bumpers, new LED headlights and tail lights, new wheels, yada 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 yada. For the Golf GTI, there's a little bit more power. So you get 227 brake horsepower, where the old one got 217. The performance pack adds another 15 horsepower, so you get 242 with that one. But otherwise, the transmission and the suspension are unchanged. So, item one on the agenda would seem to me to be the fact that Volkswagen has only added 10 horsepower. It's turned down the opportunity to put this car on a level footing with the rivals that have come in the last sort of 2-3 years at a higher power output. Things like the Peugeot 308 GTI, the new and improved Seat Leon Cupra. I mean, even Focus ST gets 250 horsepower now, doesn't it? So it's left the GTI in a fairly conservative position. Does that matter? Well, I think it does and it doesn't. We have to remember that the GTI is the sort of the Ernie Wise of the hot hatchback world, isn't it? There is a Golf R, and as part of this revision to the whole Golf range, that car gets more power. So that's now up at 306 horsepower. And if you're the sort of hot hatchback buyer who wants as much pace as you can get, that's the car you buy. I think the GTI buyer has always been into a more rounded and affordable prospect. So I'm not really minded to think that matters too much. You know, is this engine a good one? Yes. Would you change much about it? Not really. It makes the car pretty quick, 6.5 seconds to 62 miles an hour. Could it be faster? Yes, but would you take that extra speed if it made the engine less balanced, less flexible, you know? No, I don't think I would. I really like this engine because it's nice and crisp, and because it works well throughout the range, and because it feels like it's not working too hard. And it's also not terrifically expensive. You know, this is still a £28,000 car, and that makes it affordable. That makes it something that your average bloke can own. And that's the point. That's the point with a hot hatch. They're supposed to be affordable things. If you drive the Peugeot 308 GTI, plenty of other hot hatchbacks you might spend similar money on, the engines feel like they're working an awful lot harder for their money, and you get more turbo lag, and they don't sound as good, and it's a question of sort of quality rather than quantity for me. I like what the GTI offers, so we'll just tick that one off and say fair enough. Item two, should they have changed more about the way the driving experience is? Should they have firmed it up? Should they have changed the steering? Well, they sort of haven't fixed what isn't broken. You know, the GTI represents a really interesting coming together of all sorts of different qualities, I think, in a performance car. It's not so stiff that it can't handle this kind of mountain road, or, you know, even more important, that you can't take it down a British B road and feel like the chassis is doing exactly what it was designed to do. You know, it's compliant, it's just controlled, composed, grippy, precise, rewarding, and a little bit exciting. It's kind of what you want it to be, isn't it? Is it as much fun as a Focus RS? No, it isn't. Is it, you know, is it as fast around the circuit as a Honda Civic Type R? No, it isn't. But it's a road car. And it's a very good road car. This is the classic hot hatchback, done to perfection.